Okay, y'all. So we're back on the road. But I wanted to give my experience on being at adult parties, sex clubs that allow sex day parties that allow single men. Sorry, it's cold on. Okay. So I'm gonna give kind of my experience, things that I saw, things I enjoyed, things I did not enjoy, and how I think you can be successful at going to these type of parties, right? You want to go in there and you want to have sex with hot chicks, and that's what you want. Actually, I just had one just text message me right now, that I made a friend of. Okay. And she was hot. She actually approached me, and women at these parties this is not normal world, right? I mean, it is to an extent, but normal world, the chicks you meet, from my experience, want a boyfriend, want a relationship, right? But this is my experience. Okay, first of all, just because I'm built, I got muscles and all that stuff, it's out the window. It does not matter at all. It doesn't. I personally don't think, from what I saw, well, there's going to be some women in there who are going to choose you. You know what I mean? And some of them, they might not all be bikini models, but yeah, you're going to have options of just women who may approach you, and you just, they might just like normal guys. They might not like muscled up guys. They might not like the guys that look like me, right? So, how I did it. There was only one group of women I approached in 2 weeks. Only one. I was approached by over 40 women in 2 weeks. Oh, no, let's just be specific. 1, 2, 3, 6. I was approached by over 40 women in 6 days. But there's more to that as well. My experience on how I did it, how it worked for me. And, I hung out with people who were coming there and buying sections full of, but like every girl in the group was like a model chick, right? And I had men coming up to me like, hey, just my wife, she just wants to look at you. Can you just come out here just so she can look at you? And I said yes. But and those chicks were like model chicks, right? But that's the difference in this world, right? That's the difference in this world. So, how it worked for me. Whenever I go on vacation, I worked recently, until this past 2 weeks, for 4 years straight with like 40 days off, right? So whenever I go on vacation, and if you always look at my vacation videos, I always end up being surrounded by beautiful women every single time. And it's not anything I'm doing. It's nothing that I'm doing, and that's okay. So it may be my working out. That's definitely one of the major things. It will have to be. But when I go there, I always do the same thing, and it's not because I'm expecting them to do it. It's because I'm truly living in that moment and then just enjoying it. And immediately, always happens immediately. And even if it doesn't happen, you cannot expect it to happen, right? You just have to go there knowing that my mindset is, I'm coming here, I'm gonna enjoy this moment. I don't get these moments often, and even if I do, this is my moment in life. This is my moment. I'm gonna leave, and this is gonna be my moment that I look back on like, was I enjoying it so that they could see me enjoying it, or was I enjoying it so that I enjoyed it? You know what I mean? I enjoyed it, so I enjoyed it. So what I do is, and this is, this certain type of scene, I go in and give me a drink, and I go sit in the pool. I'm not people watching. I'm not watching other people. I'm not looking around like, who can I talk to? I earned this. You know what I mean? I earned this. This moment is mine. I earned this moment. And I'm grateful for this moment, right? So far, on my single escapades, someone's going to approach you. Always. Always happens, every single time. So in this specific environment, what I just experienced the last 2 weeks, I'm in there for 10 minutes. Go get me a drink. Sit down. I'm not people watching. I'm completely focused on this moment. I made my little space right here, and this is my space of heaven for right now, man. And I'm enjoying it fully. You know what I mean? People around me laughing, having a great time, and I'm enjoying this moment completely. I'm not focused on anything that they're doing at all. And next thing you know, tap on the shoulder. And you look up, and there's a dime. And it's like, whoa. She's hot. But you just, hey, what's up? And then she asked me, what are you doing here? All these questions. Are you single? What do and the third, right? I tell her, yes, I'm single, have no kids, and I'm just here enjoying myself. And she says, it's because, I'll explain more. Anyway, long story short, this chick, super hot, introduced me to her hot friends, and a few of male guys friends, and within an hour of not talking sexually, not coming on to her sexually, just having conversation, and just normal conversation, not expecting anything at all. And I don't know if maybe she picked up on that, or it turned her on or something like that, you know what I mean? But within an hour, I made it to rooms that single guys cannot go in, right? You have to have a girl with you to go in these rooms. And within an hour, we're in that room, you know what I mean? And she's introduced me to her friends, and then, she decides, you know, hey, I'm gonna head out, and you know, and she's on her period, so we couldn't do anything anyway. But the whole time she's like asking me, what, just pick a girl. You are what these women are looking for. Okay, you're in shape, well shaved, well groomed, and you're not all over them. You're not giving them any. You're in your own world. Just I don't know how else to explain that, because I wasn't at all looking for. I knew that even if I left that party that whole day alone, I still enjoyed myself, because I got the chance to look here and there, and I got the pool, I got the good weather, I got nice trees. This is beautiful to me, right? That was my mindset. That is my mindset. And you know, she's pointing out all these girls, and she's like, you know, just pick one. And I'm like, she's hot too, so I'm like, you know, I'm not pressed for that. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's, you know, I would enjoy that, but I wasn't expecting anything at all once I came here. And she kept, I don't know why, she just couldn't really believe that. I'm like, she's like, you know, you're not like the other guys. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm just here enjoying myself in this very moment that I've earned. You know what I mean? And so she's like, okay, you know, I mean, you know, I think it even got to the point where she may not really wanted me to. She may have originally wanted me to, but later on, maybe she just, you know, got to talking to me and like, you know, this guy's really cool. He's not pressing me in no type of way. I'm the one that's pushing, you know, I'm the one that's like, you're hot, you know, you're sexy, all this stuff. Like these women would, in a heartbeat, you know what I mean? And he's just like, but I wasn't expecting anything. I'm just coming here to enjoy myself. That was it. So you know, then eventually me and her, you know, go in the playroom and we hang out for a little bit, and we go back out. You know, she's on a period, and so we didn't, you know, but you know, I got to see everything. You know what I mean? And that's a shocker. That right there was like a whoa. That was a whoa. Look at this, is a real life adult movie in front of you. And you know, if you're a jealous guy, it's gonna eat you up. If you're a just take it as what it is, and I'll explain more of what it really is here in a second. And you know, that's cool, that chick's naked, you know, it's like a real adult movie right here, like going down right in front of you, you know what I mean? And we walk out, we, you know, hang out in there for a little bit, and we walk out. And that was within an hour that happened, right? And you know, it's the same thing going on everywhere in there that you walk around. Chicks are not wearing clothes. Men, some men don't wear clothes. I don't know if you're really into it, but that's not what I'm into, so that's not what I pay attention to at all. And it's just everybody's, you know, it's full on adult time everywhere, anytime, any place that you go in this place, right? So if you don't like to see people naked, or you don't like to see adult time, you think that's private, this is not the place for you at all. These type of places are not for you at all. So we go back outside, and you know, she tries to, you know, she tried to help me get more comfortable in that environment, right? And I'm like, I can't do stuff like this in front of all these people. It's not me. I've never seen this before, never done this before. It's, you know, the most I've ever done is under the water, you know what I mean? Not out in the open. where everybody's watching. They just walking by like, hey, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? Over there just having great times, right? Actually, that was different. But this is why I say, if you see someone that you like here, it's not for you. It's no way, bro. It's no way. It's not for you. If you're the type of guy that falls for girls quickly and easily, it's not the place for you. Because 9 times out of 10, you may see her with someone else in front of you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're into stuff like that. You know what I mean? It might break your heart, and you didn't have to. You know what I mean? You just have to realize the place that you're in, right? But sometimes you meet people who only will do stuff like that with certain people. Very few people. But, so, she leaves eventually, and this chick had to been watching me the whole time, which she told me she was, but now it makes sense that she probably was. So, when I leave, or when she's leaving, I'm thinking, you know, it's 5 o'clock. This place goes until 6 in the morning, but you know, it's a lot going on in here. You know what I mean? And she's already explained to me that you are what these women are looking for here. I didn't believe it at the time. I mean, you know I'm a decent looking guy, but this is not anything that you're expecting, okay? At all, at any point in time. So, and I'm gonna show you some things that will guarantee that you have no action at all at that entire place. And I think there's few things that would help you not to have action in something like that at that point in time. And they're just normal weirdo things, right? Being all over a chick who has a husband or a man or a boyfriend or a partner or a group, and you know, she's not more into you than you are into her. Meaning, she's giving you like a little bit of laugh here and there, and you're trying to get butt naked right there. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna be turned off, and then now everybody else is gonna be looking at you sideways, right? So it's like a domino effect. You don't want that at all, right? Like I said, I only approached one group of girls this entire time. And I'll tell you how that went as well. It didn't go, I mean, it went great, but it didn't go how I would have thought it would have went, right? At that point in time, you know what I mean? So, okay, so she leaves. And as she's leaving, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm gonna walk you to your car. And this chick comes up, right? Looks like Kylie Jenner, bro. Kid you not. And she grabs me by the arm and she's like, hey, I've been watching you this whole time. Where you going? I was like, and she's like, oh, I'm leaving. And you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm, you know, kind of with her. And you know, she's like, no, I want to stay. I've been telling you this the whole time. Just stay and have fun, right? And she's saying it, but she's irritated at the same time. So I know by her conversation how she's really feeling about it, right? Leave. So I'm like, okay. She might watch this video eventually, so I don't really want to give that secret away. Oh no, but she's cool though. You know what I mean? So basically, I kind of just gave the girl the side eye, like, hey, I'm gonna walk her to the car and then come back, you know. And then, you know, I look back at her and I'm like, hey, you know, let's go. I'm gonna walk her to the car. And then she's like, no, just stay. So she told me that 3 times. So I'm like, okay, you know what? All right, I'm just gonna stay. All right. Give her a hug. She walks out. Then she texts me later exactly what I thought she was gonna say. I just didn't want to ruin your time, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I know. But so this girl grabs me, takes me over to another group of chicks, and at this point she said, we're gonna break you in. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what it was. So like 4 chicks, and they were just like, we about to break him in. Like, you about to, you know what I'm saying? She said some different words I probably can't say on YouTube. So, long story short. Okay. So that's how every day went for me there. Every single one. I never approached a girl until my last day there. Right? Okay. So, I go in, it's like one of the most packed days I've been there, right? But I've been having such a great time. It's just because I'm not, even at that point, at any day, I never went there for a woman. I went there for the same thing every single time. Same result every single time. Same mindset every single time. I'm not pressuring women. I don't expect anything. I expect to come here, sit in this pool, whatever it is I'm doing, have drinks, have a great time, meet, laugh, with the third, and to not go to anybody's hotel and not go into that playroom. I was invited into that playroom constantly, right? Okay, so, and you can only go in there if someone invites you in there, right? It even got to the point to where I got a wristband, as a couple said that this is my third, and I didn't hook up with that couple, by the way. But they said this is, well, I went and hung out with the wife for a little bit. But anyway, so she was just awesome anyway. She didn't really expect much, right? So she gives me a wristband. And you know, she gets me a wristband, and that saved me $1,000, right? Because it's very expensive for single men to get into these places, which is what you want because it keeps the weirdos away, right? Most of the time. So, alright, where were we at? I forgot where I was. Okay, so she got me the wristband, saved me $1,000. Oh yeah, the last day, the first group of girls I met, and you know how that went. I didn't hook up with any of them, right? Okay, so it's packed in there, right? And this hot ass cougar, you know, or this group of girls that I had met the night before, and it was 6 group of girls, and the next thing I know, they're all in the shower and calling me, and they're like, and their boyfriends or husbands are standing at the door with me. I didn't want to go in the room. Just, you know, I wasn't really, the husbands and boyfriends throws it off for me, right? It's nothing I've ever done before. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's just throws it off for me. So she's like, they're like, James, look. And I look in there and all the girls are like, James, come on. James, come on. Look. I'm like, I'm tired, I'm drunk, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, which I was really in reality, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do, right? So anyway, so the next day I come back first early, and those same group of girls right there in the pool. They're like, James, you like left us last night and we doing it there. I'm like, yeah, but I'm gonna be here all day. She's like, you coming back tonight? I'm like, you know, we're gonna see what happened, how it go. And, you know, because I didn't really just know at that point. I was really just feeling like I just wanted to come there. And really just this time, the last 2 or 3 days, I wanted to just really just come and sit in the water, enjoy the weather, and enjoy the scenery, right? The women, all the beautiful women walking around naked, right? So I'm like, you know, I don't know, maybe. We'll see, you know what I mean? And she's like, okay. You know, they're like, okay, they're all, you know, smiling, they're laughing and stuff. And then, okay, so I walk up, all right, I'm gonna get my drink, go back to the pool, and then I'm sitting in the pool, and I meet this couple, right? And this is, the couples you see you would just never expect. Fine ass cougar, and this dude that looks like he just got out the army, and you know, and he starts giving me the talk I was used to getting. You know what I mean? He started giving me all the words, all the clues, everything that let me know what he was leading up to, right? And his wife was hot, and it was also 2 more cougars just walked up, And I'm like, damn, all of them are hot as fuck. I'm like, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't think the women there look bad, because they don't. Trust me, they are the women you see in the gym that you like, oh my God, if she would just give me the right signs, you know what I'm saying? I would, Yeah, okay, so anyway, so, yeah, so they're walking up next to her too, right? And he's like, oh, this is their first time here with you in the third, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? But then he's telling me, he's, you know, letting him know I'm just not into men being in the room when there's one, even if it's their wife, you know what I mean? And he's like, no, I get it, you know what I mean? But I'm the type of guy, you know what I mean? I'm real cool with it, you know what I mean? I'm just in the corner, you know? So he's giving me everything still, right? And saying his wife likes guys to look like me, right? So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Which is cool. I don't know, man. I may have done it because she was so fine. And the other two women with her were fine as well. And come to find out, they had just linked up with the group that was the 6 girls in the shower from last night. They were now with that group. And the girl's husband who told me, James, look, they're in the shower. They're waiting on you. And then I was like, nah, you know, and then she came up to me like, you coming back with us tonight? She walked up to us and she's like, yeah, she's coming with us tonight. So, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, yeah, they have great times there, right? But anyway, I see this girl, so I go get a drink at the bar, right? And I see this chick come, and she comes and stands next to me. And when I tell you, I said, whoa. That was my reaction. I had slipped up maybe that time. I may have slipped up that time. I was like, and then like she didn't, I don't think she saw me, but you know, she may have saw it. But you know, then next thing I know, I look back over and she's like smiling and like talking, like acting real nice, right? So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying, cool. I forgot about her after that. I walked away, and then once I started talking to the other dude's wife, I started thinking about her again. And then I saw her across the way, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? I have not approached one group of girls here. You know what? Let me just. This is if I could choose one, this would be the one. So let me go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, just slowly make my way over there, dibble and dabble. You know what I mean? And I know she was watching me the whole time too. But you know, it's cool. So I finally walk over. And, you know, I kind of walk past him. I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? How you doing? I was like, y'all having a good time? And then she's like, yeah, you know, cool. And then she was being like off-putting, right? And I'm like, damn, okay. So I'm gonna ask her like one more question. If she act weird, I'm just gonna dip off, right? So then I'm like, oh, okay. So it's the first time, how you like it? She's like, you know, it's cool. And then I ask her friends, I'm like, how do y'all like it? And they're like, oh, you know, it's all of our first times doing anything like this and all this stuff. And then you had one friend who was super nice, right? And then I look back over to her and I'm like, okay, you know what, shoot. Honestly, I just thought you look really nice, and I just, you know, wanted to come introduce myself and you know, and see if you guys were enjoying yourselves. And she's like, oh, I have a husband. Straight up, just like that. I'm like, that's fair. I said, I didn't say that, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's not here with you? And she's like, no, this is a girls trip. And I'm thinking girls trip. And you know, I've experienced a lot of girls trips. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, so I said, okay, cool. So. And then, you know, her friends started being really talkative. So I'm like, okay, let me just talk to her, even though she's the one I'm really wanting. But, you know, man, maybe I can, you know, warm her up just a little bit if I talk to her, because at the same time, she said she had a husband, so I'm not going to go any further than that anyway, if she was being honest, you know what I'm saying? So then her 3 friends are sitting down, and she was the only one standing up, right? So then her one friend stands up, and then she starts talking to me. She's like, oh, you know, I was like, oh, for real? I was like, where you from? And she said she from Dallas. So I'm from Dallas. So I'm like, oh shit, you know, what's up? Okay, cool. And then I started talking to her. This other black guy comes up and starts talking to her friend, and her friend is just, she went from like nice to completely stuck up, bro. I was like, oh my gosh, the only girls I approach here act like this, right? So then me and her friends start talking, building, you know, rapport, and you know what I mean. And then she says, the chick I actually came over there for, she just, I don't know, she was talking to the guy, and she was like, I think I'm gonna go back over here. I'm peopled out. And then I was like, whoa. I was like, well, she's out the question. But her friend's still cute though. Anyway, so, you know what I'm saying? And her friend's now showing me like, okay, I think you're cute as well. You know what I mean? So everybody else leaves, and it's just me and her friend staying there, right? And then so me and her friend start talking, and her friend starts telling me her life story, and I, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff, and she's, you know, getting real emotional, telling me about all her scars and like all this stuff, right? And then when we get to the point to where, you know, when we get to that point of, you know, this is probably what you came for, you know, she's showing me everything, you know, everything, and then soon as I leaned over, because she was like, yeah, I got my pierced and all this stuff, and I'm checking them out, and then I look over, and then I look back, and like her friends over her shoulder like, let's go. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I was like, no, you know what, that's fine, that's cool, go ahead, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and do your thing, right? But anyway, point being, okay, so that was the only couple I had ever approached. And the girl that I was talking to that was really nice from Dallas, she like stared me down the whole way out. I know she didn't want to leave, but you know, she finally, her friend turned really aggressive out of nowhere. I'm not really sure. I'm sure she was probably just being protective, and she probably wasn't just into me at the same time, you know what I mean? That could have been it as well, which is kind of hard to believe after what I've experienced, but not everyone is into you, and I have learned that as well. I mean, and that's just obvious, that's just being realistic, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean, you know, how can you get mad at that? How can you get mad at someone who's not into you? What? Okay, so if somebody got mad that you weren't into them, that you weren't into, how would you feel about that? Would you feel like, I'm not into you, so, you know what I mean? You gotta respect that. If I don't like how you took care of your body or your hygiene or not, something like that, then you can't get mad at me for that, right? So it's fair. So anyway, so I like, you know, that was it. That was the end of that. And, you know, immediately after that, more girls came up to me immediately. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, long story short, so things you should not do, right? Okay, I'm with this chick, right? And I'm talking about this chick, hey, and don't get wrong, don't get me wrong, fellas. She did me like, she played me too, man. I ain't even gonna lie. But she didn't really play me, but she kind of warned me before she told me. She said, you know, I treat guys like they treat girls, you know what I mean? So I'm like, you ain't gonna do me like that. It's kind of what I was thinking, but she did me like that for sure. She definitely did though. But you know what I'm saying? It's all just charged to the game, man. You know what I'm saying? She one nighted me, man. She sure did. But anyway, yeah, so this is certain things you don't want to do, right? If this is a place where you can walk around naked, bro, what common sense tell you, like I had almost really got into it with a guy because, okay, me and her are sitting at the bar. She's facing the very end of the bar, and there's nothing there, right? Behind her, to the side of her, and I'm facing her, and it's only me and her in like this little area, right? This guy comes up and pulls his thing out slowly. I said, no, he's not gonna do it. I said, no, he's not gonna do it. No, he's not gonna do it. Starts kind of side eyes me slowly, and then kind of like starts to touch. Like I said, bro, are you serious? Why? Why would you do that? Why? I said, no. You know what? Hey, could you turn around and give him some attention? Just help me, and you know, just give. She said no. I said, all right, buddy. You know, I'm not in. You don't do that in front of me, bro. It's nothing else over here for you. You know what I'm saying? And so eventually he just walks away, and I'm just like, and guys, like when men hurt, we're not having sex or nothing like that. We're just laying in the beach chairs, and groups of guys would just come up and just stare at us like this. We stare at her, and I'm just like, look up, like. And she like looks at me and laughs. She's like, don't even pay any mind. They do it all the time. I'm like, do you like that? And she's like, no. She's like I'll be, you know, I'll be naked or laying down or something, and a guy will come and he'll start playing with himself and ask me if I want to touch it. And I said, oh my God, no. She said, that would make you completely off limits. That's like, don't do it, right? This is why they don't allow single men in this place, right? Don't go up and the first thing you want to do is whip your stuff out and start playing it with her in front of her. That's like sending D-pics. I've never met a girl who really likes getting random D-pics. I just don't think you should do that. I think that's like a game killer, honestly, bro. I think you would be better off if you want to walk around naked. Hey, do your thing, man. I think older women might be really into that. I don't know if younger women would really be into that, but they might. If you're with them or if they know you already, they might like that. Even if you're not, I don't know. But I never saw a random guy walking around naked getting with multiple girls. You know what I mean? I never saw that. I personally felt like I had the option of pick and choose of women. And I never approached any women at all. Not one besides that one group. I never approached any more women. And I had over 40 women approach me in 6 days. So, if you're gonna go to these things and be like this, I'm speaking from heterosexual men and women. These are just things you don't want to do. Now, also, what you're going to get, what I got most of, I did not sleep with over 40 women. I had over 40 women approach me. At least 30 of these women had husbands. You know what I mean? So those are going to be no's for me, especially if he wants to be there. And oh my God, I wish I could show you some of these chicks, how fucking hot they were. I'm talking about, these chicks look like they should be in like a Hollywood movie or something like that. They're freaking hot in Florida. And I just wasn't ecstatic over the idea of a 50, 60-year-old man watching me with his 30-year-old wife that looks like fucking Megan Fox. Even though she looks like Megan Fox, I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? So, or I don't know if I'll ever be there, but I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And these women are not used to being told no. You know what I mean? So you can say no as well. You absolutely can say no. And they would say no in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So just have those things in mind. And this was my experience at my first ever sex clubs, sex parties. Yeah.